A stunning and historic night. Former President Donald Trump, the first former president to face a federal indictment. 7 charges stemming from his handling of classified documents after he left the White House. One, CNN reporting, is a violation of the Espionage Act. KCAL News political reporter Tom Wade is here with legal and political analysis. Tom.
So much to get to, and we are in uncharted waters, Juan, as you pointed out. CBS News is reporting the former president is also facing obstruction and conspiracy charges connected with those classified documents. Legal experts say these charges are serious and carry the possibility of prison time.
I'm an innocent man. I did nothing wrong.
Former President Donald Trump proclaiming his innocence in a video he posted not long after announcing on his social media network that he's been indicted.
Just like the Russia hoax and all of the others, this has been going on for 7 years.
CBS News sources say Mr. Trump is facing a 7-count indictment, including the retention of national defense information, conspiracy, and obstruction. The charges stemming from the federal investigation into Trump's handling of sensitive government documents after he left the White House. It was last August federal agents served a search warrant at Mr. Trump's golf resort home of Mar-a-Lago in Florida and seized a number of the classified documents in question. Scott Tenley is a former federal prosecutor.
What I'm looking for is how strong is the obstruction case? What evidence do they have, if we even see it in the indictment, that the president purposely and willfully held back these documents and obstructed the investigation of the FBI and federal officials. I think we also might see how he was using or what he was doing with the classified documents in his possession. We've heard reports that he was showing people who were not entitled to see these documents some of our nation's most guarded secrets. And if that's in the indictment, that's going to be troublesome for everyone, including the president.
Loyola law professor Jessica Levinson.
All of the reporting indicates that at this point, the charges will relate to the former president being asked over and over to give back government documents, for him refusing to do so, and potentially asking aides and or his attorney to help him hide those documents.
Burbank Congressman Adam Schiff, who led Trump's first impeachment trial, spoke with us just hours before Trump made the indictment public.
It certainly appears, just on the basis of the publicly reported evidence, that Trump knew he had classified documents, that his counsel, and it would appear at his behest, lied to authorities about the continued possession of classified information, and obstructed the effort to recover that material.
Mr. Trump has already announced he is running again for the GOP nomination for president in 2024. How this impacts the race is a big question.
The reaction remains uncertain. It's likely that Trump will retain support among his base. He famously said he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and not lose votes. At least with his core support, that's true. The question is whether the more marginal supporters of Donald Trump will stick with him. And that's very uncertain as of tonight.
Trump is framing the investigation and the charges as politically motivated.
They come after me because now we're leading in the polls again by a lot, against Biden and against the Republicans by a lot.
Mr. Trump will appear in a Miami federal courtroom on Tuesday. Meanwhile, tonight, Trump's allies and rivals in the Republican Party are coming to his defense. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis saying Trump is a victim of political weaponization, and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy calling the indictment unconscionable. So, before we move on to this, there are still, several other investigations going. Right. There's the case in New York, there's the case in Georgia over election interference, and the case over the insurrection on January 6th.
No doubt. Now, let's talk about this. If he is found guilty, what happens to his candidacy, his presidency moving forward? So
Loyola law professor Jessica Levinson, who we heard from there in the piece, she says that even if in this particular case, not all the cases, but in this case, if he's found guilty and even serves prison time, he can still be the president. This would not disqualify him. Now, the insurrection case, that could potentially affect his candidacy, but in this particular case, no. So interesting, such new territory that we're all kind of experiencing this together, right? Exactly. As we were talking about just a little earlier, we've never had a president or former president facing federal charges before. So, so there we go. And we don't know what the evidence is yet. Tuesday is a big day because that's when he appears in court. We might get more information that day. Federal court, it's a little different than it was in New York, where we saw those charging documents released. We'll have to see what we get. And so far, the Justice Department has said nothing.
Right. Let's see, and I know you'll be all over it.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks,
Tom,
Paul.
thanks so much. All right, Tom, we'll continue to update us on this story, so stay with KCAL News and kcalnews.com for the very latest on the indictment of former President Donald Trump.